I do love that you're.
Did you hit record on the box though?
I hit record over here.
Are you sure?
And I hit record over here.
All right.
So I am recording.
I said got it, so I'm good.
Okay,
I
everybody.
agree.
Okay, everybody. Joining us now is Pat Engleman from Cliffview Productions that puts on Lacka Wyco Hundo and the Crosscut Metric. Welcome, Pat. It's so great to have you join us again. This is your second time on the podcast, right?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. It was been a while. It's been a while, but it seems like everything around now is a while from. I was reflecting back on the first time, and it's been a minute for sure. A lot of changes in my life, and there's a lot of changes in the world. So I'm glad to be back.
Him catch up to Dave.
Yeah. And that was way back when Wes, because I remember trying to get Wes to understand the pronunciation of Lacka Wyco Hundo. Yeah. He had real difficulty with that. So
yeah.
Pat,
it's Lacka Wyco Hundo. You guys, I love your whatever Marylandisms you guys throw on. I love it, but it is.
Hey, I don't say Warsh. That's a big thing down here.
I am such a strange blend. My family's from North Carolina, and so I've got this odd blend of whoever I'm around more. It seems to like the peculiarities of my speech patterns to follow. So Pat, where are you calling from tonight?
Wyncote, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia.
Cool. And we ran into each other at the Philly Bike Expo. That was I think probably the best part of Philly Bike Expo was getting to see people again.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to be back to that. I mean, Unpaved was nice to see folks, but there was like so many more folks come in for Bike Expo, from all over the country, and it was really great to see people.
Yeah, I think we just waved at each other at Unpaved because you were going to circle back or something. It was at the packet pickup, and then we just never really reconnected. I remember, I think there was a wave involved, but I think that was it.
There was a wave. I was becoming impatient because, unfortunately, at those events, I happen to know one or two people, and Jill, who's always on your top 10 somehow, or she came over to you guys. I'm like, if I go talk to those guys, we're never going to ride today, and if we don't ride now,
but she came over. She came over, didn't she? Yeah, she came over. That was kind of cool.
I was like, get back here. So so we got to go for a ride, and we got to get to dinner, because I was like, we go over there, we're never leaving. And we've already trying to leave for an hour. So.
That's true. So for folks that don't know you, Pat, introduce yourself. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, what makes you tick.
Oh man, that's how long do we have for this thing? So I'm Pat Engleman. I'm here because talking about Lacka Wyco Hundo. I'm a native of northeastern Pennsylvania. I moved to Philly a long time ago, but I've been I kind of still use home as the Scranton area. But was that? Yeah, the Electric City, exactly. Yes. It's funny, I don't even watch The Office, but everyone knows and references it. They know Scranton. But so I've been involved in cycling for a long time. As bike messenger, worked in shops, event promoter, and I kind of came to this a little bit naturally, I think, this event promotion thing. My dad did some kind of stuff like this as well growing up. So, started kind of putting this together. And I also run the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Cycling League with a bunch of other folks. But I do a bunch of stuff. My life involves cycling. I have a real job, and my job that reminds me why I don't want to work in the cycling world, and I have the other one that reminds me why I don't want to work in the education world. So I have a couple hats that I wear, but I really love this one.
So how long were you a bike messenger?
5 years.
What's your best? You gotta have a good bike messenger story. I don't think you can be a bike messenger and not have a good story to go along with it, right?
Which one do you want?
Your best one that's the one you tell at parties.
Oh man, I got a couple. I mean, my first delivery ever was an epidural needle about like 3 feet long. That was my first job I ever had. My other go-to is being given a brick of $20,000 in deep North Philadelphia, and told to deliver that brick of cash to downtown. What else? I had Eagles, like some kind of Eagles, really super fancy Eagles tickets that were in my bag along with my water bottle that leaked all over them. And I laid them out on a counter, and I said, and they signed for it, and I ran. But my favorite, my favorite one ever was we did a lot of different stuff. Like I mean, I delivered all kinds of stuff, but we delivered a lot of blood. We would move blood between. That some people don't know that, you know, in the city we move blood between hospitals all the time. Mm-hmm. And again, I guess it comes down to my water bottle, my bag, for some reason. I reached into my bag for a different job, and when I reached in, I just felt cold and wet, and I had like a bunch of blood on me. As I was like a bunch of blood in the bag. Reached in my bag looking for something, and I felt cold and wet, and I was like, oh boy, I don't want to pull this out. I pulled it out. Luckily, it was only water. The blood bags have not burst, but that was definitely one of the like slowly pulling my hand out of my bag, thinking like, what disaster do I have in my bag? But yeah, I made sure I got that blood off of me, that blood delivered as fast as possible. But
that's a serious pucker moment right there, I bet.
Oh, yeah, especially because, like, you know, usually these hospitals have requested blood from each other because they need it for surgery or whatever it may be. Like they're not just like, oh yeah, we need a couple of pints over here. It's like they need it. Like, you know, it was usually pretty intense. But I mean, all kinds of fun stuff over the years. I mean, like, you know, there's plenty of stuff. But those are the three, at least as far as deliveries go. We're the epidural needle, the blood, and the brick of cash at like a place no one would ever want to go to, and especially ride the bike through. Wow. But yeah, I did all kinds of stuff. Delivered diamond rings. I used to go to Tiffany's and pick up all kinds of like bags of stuff and have to deliver that.
Oh, you know, do you usually know what it is that you're toting around, or is it?
Sometimes you do. I mean, when someone hands you a little tiny Tiffany's bag and they say, deliver this to the Sixers, that was yeah, I usually know. And that one was funny. They handed me a Tiffany's bag, and I was like, so this is going in this bag, in my messenger bag. I was like, there's nothing else that's going to protect this. I'm like, do you want anything else? And they're like, nope. I'm like, all right, see you later. I just wanted to give you a warning that this is not going to be pretty when it gets there. It's not going to be this beautiful Tiffany's bag by the time it finally gets to the Sixers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what sparked your interest in the gravel world?
So gravel world, I was lucky enough to be invited to. I rode on the Blanky Cycles tandem team at the Rafa Gentleman's Race one of the years, and so I kind of started doing that, and then I did Monkey Knife Fight, which kind of get me on some gravel roads. But also, like, where I grew up there's gravel roads quickly out of town. So already I was kind of like looking at some of the stuff that the like off-road Rafa stuff that was going on, and they were like riding road bikes off-road, and I was kind of starting to do some of that, like I said, with the tandem squad. And then we did then been doing like I said, Monkey Knife Fight. I was like, oh, this is cool. I could ride my road bike on this stuff, and I should look for more of this back home. I know where this stuff is back home. And I'm like, I know I can go find this. And I started kind of kicking around a little bit, and I was actually, where Lacka comes from, it's Father's Day weekend, probably 2012 or 11 or so, and I was going for a ride with the local cycling crew up at Harvey's Lake, and I was in a meeting at the time. I was working for the Discovery Channel, and I was in a meeting with those guys. I'm sitting in the car waiting. My bike's ready, and my kid's on, and I'm ready to go. And someone just kept talking, and the crew left, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm not gonna catch them. And I kind of knew where they went, and I went after them. I couldn't find them at all, but I found a bunch of really beautiful dirt roads, and I kept looking around for more and more and more, and I just kept going, and I just went on my own and found a bunch of beautiful dirt roads. And I was riding at the time, these giant tires. I had 28 C's on my Indy Fab touring bike, and I was riding these gigantic tires back then, and finding these dirt roads and going down all of them. And then that weekend, a Father's Day weekend, I just went out, and I'm like, I know where there's some other dirt roads. I'm gonna go find those. I'm gonna go ride those. And partway through, I was like, man, my friend should come here and ride with me. Like, they should really check this out, because we already do some of this stuff. We were already doing some, finding some dirt roads and riding single track on our road bikes, and like that kind of stuff. So I'm like, we should probably find some, invite some folks up here and go for a ride sometime.
So what do you think? I mean, the popularity, I guess at some point I'm going to actually stop asking this question, because it's going to kind of be old school, but the popularity, where do you think the popularity of gravel cycling comes from?
I think we kind of sit at a perfect nexus of like where mountain bike racing has kind of died off a little bit. And then, which was taking a lot of folks to their summers, that was like usually the summer plan was like, spring through summer was mountain bike racing. And I think that kind of died off a little bit. The crit thing is no longer a thing. I mean, once in a while you get a couple people doing that, but I think, and I've heard a lot of people say it, of course, it's dangerous as heck to be on the road. And I think, we wanted to find somewhere new, find something different. Like I said, when we started putting 28Cs on our bikes, or taking our cyclocross race bikes of these crazy mountains that the cross race bike was not necessarily built for, but we're like, well, we got some chunky tires that kind of look like our mountain bike, and man, I got these disc brakes now on my road bike or my cross bike. Man, I should throw myself off a mountain on this thing and see how it goes. And I think that's the advent of the technology for cross, as well as getting these bikes that are closer to mountain bikes and a little less mountain bike racing. And we went out there and then realized, like, oh man, it really sucks riding on the road. The road could be boring, it could be super dangerous, and less folks are paying attention. Everyone's on their phone, and the speeds are insane. So let's go get lost, and let's go get lost in the woods and see something different, something that we've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole idea of getting away from the cars, because even when you encounter cars, well, typically on gravel roads, they're moving slower because they have to move slower, and it just feels like a friendlier place. And then all of a sudden you realize that this whole new world has opened up. And
yeah, absolutely.
Just been a super cool scene. Now I guess Lacka Wyco Hundo, Wyco Hundo.
So it's Luzerne. Say it with me. Luzerne,
Lackawanna, Wyoming.
Those are the counties. So it's Luzerne, Lackawanna, Wyoming counties, and then
the Hundo is the 100. Okay,
100. Yeah.
I'm still gonna mess it up.
It's okay. You can say it. I love hearing it. Whatever way you say it.
So between that and Crosscut, it sounds like you kind of just gave us a bit of the origin story behind both of the events. But how did they, how did they officially come into being?
They officially came into being 2013. Lacka became a thing when I said I'm going to do this thing, and like I said, I'm going to invite some friends, and it was literally that. It was some texts, some emails, maybe Facebook or MySpace, or whatever the heck it was back in 2013. But I, some of that, and telling some friends out on rides, and just said, hey, and also too, there was like a reverence for the spring classics. Like I love the spring classics, and there was a reverence for that and following along with that. And I would be negligent in my Phillyism by not talking about the Philly Spring Classic, and where it's February into March, where a local cycling legend, Al, runs a mess of a ride, where you go on all kinds of stuff, and he's been doing this forever. And so with Al running this Philly Classic, I was thinking, like, this is like he does it every Sunday during the spring, like during the early spring, and it's a training series, getting ready. But it's a training series, and also kind of a disaster, but it's a whole thing. So it's definitely an event. But I had a reverence for the spring classics, and I said, let's do a spring classic. And the first year we did it on Palm Sunday, and I said it was always going to be on Palm Sunday forever, and that's what we were going to do. And because Palm Sunday, of course, in Europe, those events are usually held on the Sundays, especially right around the holiday in the spring. So I wanted to do it then. So the first one, like I said, 2013, it was on Palm Sunday. And also it works out for me because I usually have a week off for spring break. So I need a week to recover after it's over. So that's why we almost always run it the week before Easter. But I need that time to get back to I used to, and now I had to change it. But anyway, I just invited folks, and I invited some folks, and we had 18-ish show up. Some people showed up that morning. We were at the Susquehanna Brewing Company, which we were the first cycling event the first event they ever did, because they were brand new. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but they were around for a long time as far as brewers go, but this was their first event they ever did. And the first event meaning that, like, we were on the back of my trunk and people handed me $20 and signed their name. And they went out for a ride, and my dad ran the rest stops out of the back of his trunk, and we had some spots that we knew we'd meet people along the way, and that's just kind of what we did. So those first those first few folks who showed up, they will forever get entry into the Lacka Wyco Hundo for free and before anybody else. So, and it's like it's some of the people like Celine and Dave, and Jordy and some other folks, Jill, who did it. There was I think 18-ish started and 13-ish finished. We lost a couple people along the way.
Did Dave finish? Did Dave finish? That's all I needed.
Dave did finish.
Okay.
Dave and he did.
You don't have to lie.
Celine, of course, is the only female to ever win Lulaka. Period. Like no female has ever beat Celine. There's never been a Lulaka where a female finished before Celine. Never.
That's tough to defend after a while. She can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
she can do
it. The rain year, she finished ish. I don't think they did the whole 100. They did something. They stopped for soup and they were going to go watch Star Wars, but they did ride. But I don't believe there were no females to finish that year. Finish the whole 100 that year. And if there were, it was going to be Slim. So, but the rain year, as we call it. But anyway, those folks showed up that day. Trying to think, like John, Doug, Celine, Jordy, Jason Fritchie, Tim Woods, this kid Spencer. He showed up. He was 16. He showed up, and I was like, "Wait, what are you doing? What do you think? Are you serious?" And he showed up. He did 80 some ish miles. Brian, also known as Fuzzy, who works for Blinky now, he was there.
Cool.
John from Fuji Bikes was there. Just a nice little crew of folks I knew, and some folks I didn't. Some folks just showed up out of the blue. One guy stopped midway and went to a mountain bike meeting, and he never showed it back up. And I was like, waiting, looking at his car, crap my pants, going like, "Where the heck is this guy?" And I forgot he went to like a meeting for the Trail Association like halfway through, and just like that was what he was going to do. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So we started 13, invited some friends, and then next year invited some more friends, and now, holy crap, it's like it's a thing. Like it's a thing now.
So what about Crosscut? Where did Crosscut send him to shoot off a Lulaka?
So Crosscut comes from it was actually held around Philadelphia for the first 2 years of Crosscut. My buddy Alex, we're total map nerds. We talk about maps. He might be more of a map nerd than I am, but he's like really into the GIS stuff. He knows his stuff. He's a computer guy. But Alex and I ride a lot together. And Alex, I will tell, he might never hear this because I say he's the engineer's engineer. He doesn't really, he's a quiet guy. He's just a quiet, reserved guy. And I could somehow get him to talk. And of course I can talk all day. So our personalities are great. So we go on a ride and I talk most of the time and he goes, mm-hmm. So it's great. But Alex would do some training rides, and Alex loves the Lacka. Like he does love it. And our friendship kind of developed almost around it a little bit, where we were friends before, but it kind of definitely grew over the years. But Alex had some roots that were just outside of Philadelphia, like in the Souderton area, kind of like up where he lives. And there were some dirt roads, and he took us on a couple rides, and we went out. I'm like, this is amazing. And like, it took me a year or two to ask him if I could make this into an event, because he's so shy and and these roads are like these are his babies. And he knew, and I kept saying, man, this would be a great event. This would be a great event. And then it took me a little while to ask him, and just out of respect for his, thing. And finally we went out for a drive one day, and I'm like, you think we can do this? And he's like, I think we can actually do this. And Crosscut, it's funny, Crosscut, the name, we were trying to figure out a name, right? We're trying to call it something cool. And it was a little bit of a play on the hatchet that's awarded at Lulaka. Mm-hmm. And like, how do we kind of connect the two, but not? And here's the curtain getting pulled back. We were on a dirt road, and there's one spot where there's like buffalo or bison, I guess, out there, and at a farm. And I stopped to take a leak. And when I went to behind the bushes to take a leak, there was a saw, like a rough cut saw, laying on a pallet. And I was like taking a leak next to it. I'm like, there it is. It's Crosscut.
And
it just came to my mind. It was a saw laying out on this pallet. Someone was cutting wood with it or whatever. And I was like, Crosscut, done. And we called it the Crosscut Dirty Metric Century. And so it was run outside of Philadelphia. We did it 2 years in Philadelphia. And it's just small. It's really was like, very small. It was also run around Labor Day. So where people are on vacation. The first year was about the real field temperature outside was like 105. It was kind of insane. And it was the only time I ever thought about canceling an event. The night before, I was like, it was like 9 o'clock, and I'm looking at the news and look at the weather, and texting with folks, and I'm like, you think you could do this? And we just we went out and did it. And some people cut it short. I'm gonna make this you guys usually make it the Dave show. I'm gonna make this a Celine show. So okay. Celine crashed somewhere out on a little bit of loose gravel on top of Mountain Mary. So Crosscut actually connects to the southern part of Monkey Knife Fight. So it connects to the southern part of Monkey Knife Fight. So it goes you could go from Philadelphia up to Emmaus, kind of on some of these roads. If you do some fancy dancing, you can certainly make it happen. But anyway, so on top of Mountain Mary, which is on Monkey Knife Fight, there was some loose gravel, and Celine went down, and she was fine, and she came back, but she came back to this we had like a little lollipop rest stop. You go out Mountain Mary, come back, and you see the same rest stop again, and Celine came back bloody. Ooh. And almost no one went that way. Like, if Celine came back bloody, I'm not going. Someone did crash it there. My buddy Glenn, who often tries to test the density of the road, Glenn did crash out there pretty spectacularly and scared the bejesus out of some old lady who lives on the top of Mountain Mary, and with all the amount of blood he could possibly get out of his body. But Glenn's quite a guy, and he loves checking out how hard the road is. So.
Hey, you got to leave a little bit of blood behind, otherwise you weren't there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he's our Tyler Hamilton, so he crashes in every race he's in.
So let's actually dive into each one of these things now. So let's get the logistics out of the way. So event dates, location, riders, caps, distances. Let's start with Lacka. You see, I'm leaving Wyco out of the whole thing. That's the part that throws me. And you referred to it earlier just as Lacka. So you gave me free reign.
Lacka. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. That's fine.
So let's start there. What are the dates?
So April 24th is Lacka. April 24th, 2022 is Lacka. Registration opens, as always, on January 1st at 12:05 a.m. So New Year's Eve, you're still out partying. We made it 12:05. A friend one time said they waited for their New Year's kiss before they registered and then had their New Year's kiss, and I said, never again. It's 12:05.
Gotcha.
To make sure that doesn't happen. I'm like, that's not the way that should go. So she made that change for us. So it's midnight, and I made it that time. And people are usually people go back and forth on how much they hate it. But I made it that because it's just easy to remember. It's just silly, stupid marketing. Like, it's when's registration? New Year's Eve, done. So it's just easy. So New Year's Eve, this year, of course, New Year's Eve is going to happen on the 31st, and it's going to be the 1st this year. So, just in case you were wondering, and Christmas is also on the 25th this year, just in case you were wondering.
Got sliding in the dad joke there.
Yeah.
Now, what are the caps and riders for Lacka?
So Lacka, we're going to go big again. It's going to rain because we're going big again. The last time we went big, it poured. So we're going to go back up to touching 500. Wow. So yeah, so we're going to go. It's funny, big is like relative terms, because you look at someone like Unpaved or some of the other ones out in the Midwest, and it's like that's one of their classes. But it's I've always kind of kept it a little small. So 300, 350 has been 350-ish. But I always kept it small to my punk rock roots of like not want to get caught, like being out there putting on something that's kind of a little underground, kind of not totally official.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell anybody. There's 500 people are riding their bikes on the road, and like it's in the newspaper now and stuff like that. But yeah, don't. That's how we started. Was don't tell anybody. Like literally, that's kind of
don't tell anybody.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of where it comes from. So we're gonna go back to 500. I think I got a good a plan for volunteers, which is always one of the limitations. Was a lot of people want to ride it, and having I think we got a good plan for volunteers. We're working with and some things got to be checked off, but we're working with the local mountain bike team who is near and dear to my heart, and I want to make sure they're always solvent. So we're gonna work with them to make sure that getting the kids out there and parents and other folks around, so we can make sure that mountain bike team has what they need, but they could also give back to the folks who come up there to go ride.
Joey and I are both volunteering for rides, to work for rides this coming year. And we've talked a little bit about it. And I think we've kind of challenged, I don't know if we've officially done it, but challenged our listeners to actually give back a little bit and volunteer at some events. So how many volunteers
awesome.
do you actually take in? What is your volunteer count?
So usually for riding volunteers, we usually leave 10 spots open for the people who want to ride along and provide mechanical support and be like officially official. To check in with me and get some tubes and get some support, and they can get the bat signal to me. We usually do like 10 or 15 of those folks. But we can always use folks who are riding and maybe their partners that need something to do for the day. We can get them out there and we can find them somewhere. And we also, it's not a whole day. Some of them are 3-hour spots. Some of them are 2-hour spots. Some of them are on Saturday. So we've always offered spots to folks who wanted to give some time on Saturday or Friday. We always have work to do, so they can come, and as long as they do, I forget the number I use, like a 4-hour shift gets you a whole ride, which is, and that's like getting $20 an hour, So it's,
yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to check the numbers, but I think it was like a 4 or 5 hour shift of making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or helping me not lose my mind. Will get you a ride. Just come and do it, and folks love it. Because it's an inexpensive way to give back, see the other side, and learn a little bit. And you might have to move some kegs around or paint some roads, but gives you some experience and also gets you
part of something though. I think that's there's something really it kind of resonates, and I think it rings true with the gravel cycling community, is that we want to be part of community. So I think from the idea of what you're saying is you can come and volunteer and be a part of the team and ride at the same time.
Yeah.
Who would not want to jump on that? I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
You're basically losing money if you don't volunteer for Lacka. Yeah, honestly, you're going to be overrun with volunteers after we take this angle and this market. You're basically, yeah.
Well, we got to make sure that those people actually show up. There's always.
Oh, it's raining. I'm not doing that.
Oh yeah, we check.
Okay, so distances and routes, and we're still on Lacka. What are distances and routes?
Oh man. So Lacka has a 100-mile. It's 100-ish. I would say 100-ish. It's 103. GPS are crazy. Car measurements are crazy, and also part of it you can't drive in a car because it's single track. But it's 100-ish. We also have a 75-ish, and we have a metric-ish. And we cut out the 50. We used to do a 50, and the reason why we cut out the 50 was it didn't get to the taco stop. Just because of the way the roads had to work out. And so you're going on this 50-mile route. And also for me, I'm all about like safety of the riders and also not losing anyone and getting people lost. And the 50 would go out to a certain point and turn back around, and they're on their own. And by that point in the day, it was almost impossible to get someone back to there. So we, had people who were lost. We had people who, had some trouble. So we were able to kind of concentrate by adding those extra 12-ish miles. We can now keep our concentration on the rider safety and getting people back, and providing some bailout routes or some warp zones. We have warp zones at Lacka. You know what a warp zone is?
No.
Like in Mario, and like Super Mario, you jump in the tube and you get dropped off somewhere else. Oh. You jump in the truck and we'll bring you somewhere else. So you can still kind of ride. You can still finish your ride and ride in.
Do they know where you're taking them? Because that'd be kind of cool. Jump in the truck. I got no idea where I'm going. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. I might drop you backwards. I might drop you forward. So.
A whole new kind of event. It's like.
But I love I call it a warp zone instead of a sag wagon, right? So like I can warp zone you off to somewhere, put you to the top of a hill, and just let you go right back down, and then you get to ride in. Still act like you finished it on your own, and ride up that hill, but it's still a sag wagon. We got a warp zone. So if we need to take you back to town, we'll take you back to town. But usually we try to get you back on the road or get you somewhere fun for a little while, and then get you back to where you need to go. So
nice.
Go ahead.
Let's look at Crosscut. What's the date for Crosscut?
Oh, there you go. So the Crosscut is June 19th this year, and it's going to be based in Tunkhannock, PA, which is you go right near it. You go through Tunkhannock on Lacka. We're gonna start in Tunkhannock and go out a little further. This is Crosscut is I almost call it Crosscut North, but not enough people remember the first two Crosscuts to call it Crosscut North. But it's It's now moved up to that region. Excuse me. They paved some of the roads. When I was talking about Alex earlier, they paved some of those roads, so it's not really as dirty as it used to be. So we moved it up north a little bit, and these are some of the roads that I initially explored with my dad while making the Lulaka route. And these are a little further out you couldn't possibly get to and still get back and not kill yourself. So these are and the reason why it's 62 is that it's pretty brutal. I don't want to shortchange anyone. There's some climbing out there, and it's a little more remote than Lulaka is. You can get out pretty remote, pretty far, leaving Tunkhannock. Tunkhannock is kind of like the last bastion of civilization in northeastern PA, and you kind of
make that name up. Did you make that name up? Because that sounds like a made up name. What was it again? Tunkhannock.
Tunkhannock. Yeah,
Tunkhannock. Sounds made up to me.
Yeah, Tunkhannock is on the Susquehanna, but yeah, Tunkhannock is a native name, indigenous name to the area. But yeah, the Tunkhannock is a cool little town. You ride right through it during Lulaka, but it's a cute little town. But after that, there ain't much. Yeah. So we're gonna and we also go. So here's a name for you. The next town over from Tunkhannock, if you call it a town, is called Mahoopany, and we're gonna go to Mahoopany. And then so we're up there.
Hard to get all my Pennsylvania names correct, and I get them in the Strava Club, and I'm trying to do my homework, and every time I think I'm getting close, somebody throws them at me, and you just threw some more at me, and I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, so yeah, Tunkhannock and Mahoopany, and if you were to go north of Scranton a little bit, and you see the highway, if you're going up into New York State, you see THROOP. You know what that name is?
No idea.
Troop.
THROOP.
It's troop, not troop. It's troop. So yeah, welcome to Pennsylvania.
That's funny. Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So anyway, and you leave out of we call it the Great Neck of the Susquehanna, and it's a spot where like literally the land goes out, makes this really cool spot. You guys will love it. Bring some fishing tackle, cool. And you're right on a cool turn of the Susquehanna. So there's plenty of good fishing right there. We start on the gravel road at a farm. It's a preserve actually, and we go out on gravel roads, and you are climbing right out of the gate, and you're going up for a little bit, but it's not all up. There's a lot of down, but there's definitely some ups and downs, and so with that we did the 62, which is the metric, and then we have we want to give people the option of doing like a 30-ish. So give people like a taste of gravel, because I'm a big proponent of like gravel doesn't have to be hard. Gravel doesn't have to be long. Gravel doesn't have to be your whole day. And I think that's important. That's something that's kind of almost lost in the gravel world, where it's like almost it has to be, because it's the land run. It's Unbound. It's all those things are like hundreds of miles. And it's like, nah, we can go for 30 miles and have a great time. And we can go for 45 and have a great time. So that's why I want to add those in and get some people in who may be afraid of a metric, or maybe afraid of 100, and get them that option.
Jess was just talking about that last week. It was last week Jess was talking about that. Yeah. It was just like, trying to encourage people to just don't feel like you always have to do that longest distance. Just get out there and do the thing. Enjoy the day.
Do it 30. I mean, like I always say my sweet spot is like 75 miles. I don't need to go 120. I got done it. It's just not necessary. I feel really good after 75, and I'm like, okay, I'm good to go home now. But I mean, the 120, yeah, it's fantastic. It's you've done it. Some people have even done it in the mud and the rain and the cold. I don't know what's wrong with those people, but it's definitely out there. But it's not the only way into the gravel world. And I think taking a 30-mile ride and realizing you could do that, it might take you 5 hours, but taking a 30-mile ride on gravel and going like, man, this is the best. Yeah. Now you train, and now you know what to expect, and it gives you a little taste. And like, and you're still, believe me, you're still in the middle of nowhere, and you're still climbing some nasty stuff, but you're only doing for 30 miles versus 62.
Not everybody wants to just dive right into the deep end of the pool, and if you don't have those entry points, then it ends up being sort of intimidating, and maybe that's been a big part, of encouraging, new people to explore the sport. So I applaud you for doing that. I applaud, all the organizers out there that have taken on, because it'd be a whole lot easier to just say, we got an event at 62 miles, and boy, how much easier is it to plan that and execute that? Yeah. Is to try to get multiples. So what's your rider cap for Crosscut?
CrossFit's at 300. So
Okay.
I want to keep it kind of small. I mean, small is relative, right? So, but keep it kind of small. We're going to be at this cool preserve. There's not a lot of space up there, right? You know, there's only a certain amount of space. Maybe someday we'll grow and we can grow. There are options to grow this thing, and I would love to grow this a little bit and see what this can be, because it's so beautiful up there. It's right along the Mahoopany Creek, man. That's some trout water up there.
Hmm.
You guys aren't aren't fishing. There's the Mahoopany Creek is some trout water. That's like the classic trout water up there. So I know Joey likes to get up to New York. You can save a lot of time by getting up to Mahoopany and throwing a line on there. He's googling right now, looking at Mahoopany Creek right now.
He's probably on it. It's exactly what he's doing. Okay,
it comes right out of some game land up there. So cool.
Two more questions, and I'm going to roll them together. What does the prospective rider need to know for each of those events, and what's the best bike setup for each one of the events?
Yeah, what does the rider need to know? I think for Lacka, the rider needs to know we're going to go back. We're going to keep with the rolling start, allowing people to just kind of go on their own. Start between 8 and 10, and these are what times the rest stops are going to close. The rest stops are spaced at a clip that allows you to kind of survive on 2 bottles in between. And we also, like I said, we have a rogue rest stop out there as well. That's the point of no return on the metric and on the 100, and it's the split to the 75 and the 100. So all of them are kind of spaced to make sure you can survive on 2 bottles and survive on food along the way. And we also have rolling support as well. So you don't have to come with people go out there, and I'm gonna quote Celine. When I see someone with 9 bags in their bike, I avoid them with the plague. And so
in the tour world, where it's people come out for a short day, and it's like, what are you carrying in all those bags?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you have. I don't know what's in there.
You have 19,000 calories, 4 tubes, a tire. You can come prepared and do your thing, but man, you don't need all that. And Lacka has a blend of I think the couple of things I would tell people is there's a blend of roads, right? You're gonna be on a road for a little bit. The most dangerous roads of northeastern Pennsylvania are the paved ones, because they have giant potholes after the winter. And April is only just after the winter. Late April is still basically winter up there. We've had 32-degree snowy days up there in late April. So you can ride anything. The right bike is the one that's good. You're going to be comfortable on. You're going to be stable, and you can maintain. And it's going to be something you're going to be proud that you finished the ride on. We've had everything from single speeds to track bikes. Single speed. That was basically a track bike. We have tandem, a fat bike, and everything in between. Someone one year did it on 25 cc tubulars just to show they can. Yes, exactly. We were going to allow people to ride campy. Although sometimes they have a little bit of trouble when it comes to replacement parts, but we usually have a bike to hand off to some folks if we need to. So, I don't know. Ride the bike you're comfortable with, and it doesn't matter what it is. We've literally had everything. We haven't had a tall bike yet. Maybe someday we'll have a tall bike, but at this point we've had. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
I'm sure someone will try it.
Joey,
getting up.
Try that? No. Okay.
Getting up some of the hills maybe a little difficult. And I also tell people, just take it easy. You don't need to go. There's no reason. And everyone, it's funny to see the folks who have been around for a while and see them come through the single track and up through the graveyard, and they get into some spots and you see people gunning it and just running like a cyclocross race. And I'm like, it's mile 3, homie. You are going to be
it's June 19th. So that's near longest day. You got a lot of daylight to work with.
Yeah. The Lacka is a little bit shorter. That's usually like a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But yeah, the June 19th. Oh yeah, you can be out there all day. That's gonna be a long one for those folks, and hopefully it's not 100 degrees out that day. So, but anyway, go ahead.
You got any shout outs for event sponsors?
Of course, always, right? So folks that have always helped out. Of course, we would be nothing if it weren't for having the Susquehanna Brewing Company. They're not quite our first sponsor, but the one that we've been with forever, and they help us out. We usually do a packet pickup kind of thing there. Last year they had a COVID thing at the last minute, but we've been with them forever. They supply some suds for after the ride and stuff like that. But yeah, we Stans, of course, has helped us out for many, many years. Richie Bikes, Reload, Nittany, Mountain Works. We have just a whole blend of folks. We're always looking for new. I may have heard you talk about Otso a bunch, so maybe there's a little turn for them. I'm working with them, but trying to work with them a little bit this year. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But we're always looking for new folks, and there's some in the works. There's some things in the works I don't want to say out loud yet, but I'm excited for. But yeah, I mean, Susquehanna Brewing Company's been with us forever. Richie's been with us forever. Reload, Stands, those folks are old standbys, and calling them. We do a great thing with Industry 9, where Industry 9 gives us a hub set, and we get to raffle that off. So it's always been cool to see the different folks who end up with an Industry 9 hub set. They get to pick their color, their drilling, their style, whatever it may be. They get to pick their own thing. So and then also we've had Kuat, which gives a rack away every year. So which has been great. Variety of groups through the cycling world, and we're always looking for more and always looking for different groups to work with. But I think I did say Nittany as well. So yeah, Nittany's also there. So yeah, it's always been great to have these partners. And also the cool thing is most of them, they're out riding, right? Like, so last year we had Rothrock Coffee came through big for us last year. And we're out there riding with Jamie Bestwick. And, Jamie was the UK BMX Olympic coach, so like, you're riding out there with like, not only, besides the 14 gold medals and the X Games that he has, he ends up going on to, win double gold for the UK BMX squad. He was our coach. So, I mean, like, and he's Rothrock Coffee. So he came through big with us and brought some other goodies to pass along. So cool. It was cool to have him. And, so that was someone new. I kind of invited him and asked him if he wanted to come out, saw that he was, because he's doing backflips on his gravel bike, and I figured might as well have him come out. So I don't know if you've seen some of Jamie's stuff, but yeah, he could backflip his, I think he's on a Pinarello these days, but he could backflip that. Yeah, exactly. He passed you at Unpaid, just so you know. You just didn't know it was
sure.
world class BMXer.
I got passed by a lot of people at Unpaid. So line up. You want to pass Brian. So how can folks find out more? Website, Instagram, Bike Reg, where are we at?
Yeah. So Bike Reg, LLWH V10. This is our 10th year. We kind of, although COVID canceled us, that was supposed to be year 8. So yeah, this is year 10. So we're still going with it. It's year 10. The 10th time the ride is, the 9th time the ride has happened, 10th year for the ride. So
links to in the show notes.
bikereg.com, and then cliffviewproductions.com is where you can also find more information about Crosscut. There's actually a cool deal going on where you could get Crosscut and Lacka all in one, and you get a discount on both. I guess depending on how you do the math, but you get a discount on both if you were to register for both at the same time. So, and one of the things, if I could,
sure.
Want to share one of the things I've done. It was kind of induced by the pandemic, but also as much as I feel like I'm part of the race to the registration crew. I've unfortunately have built that with other rider races or other rides. I have now. We started a thing where we have the Lacka Golden Ticket, and what the Golden Ticket is, it's 5 years of Lacka and Crosscut, and it's a 5-year plan. You get both rides for all 5 years for $500, and wow. So yeah, which is a great deal. And that's we use that during the pandemic to kind of keep solvent a little bit. When you refund few hundred people, it doesn't make things easy. There's still bills to pay. So we did that, but it's a great way to guarantee yourself to get in. And also they're transferable too. So if you were to get all 5 years and like year 3, you're like, oh my God, I'm on a baby, I can't go. Just move it on to somebody else. So it's a really great deal. It's just gives people an opportunity. Yeah, great idea. Yeah. So someone wants to support small business, and also they love that ride, and they're like, okay, do I have that extra $100 sitting around? I know it's not for everyone, but it's definitely a way. If you have the cash, it's a way to save some ducats.
You have a limited number of those, or is that something anybody can just go grab?
I do like 10 a year. kind of throw 10 out, but I'm not going to say no to 11. So
You heard
I'll
it
make
here
it so.
first, folks. Go get your golden ticket.
Yeah, and there is I'm still I got to finish it off, but we're gonna have a special prize for the golden ticket folks. So they're gonna have something that's very limited to them. So we're solidifying that still. It's been a little bit in the works, but it's
Just give
it's
them
coming.
upgraded parking. Everybody loves upgraded parking.
Yeah, that's a thing now, huh? I mean,
yeah. Upgraded
if you want to upgrade parking, you can volunteer. So it's always something. So
Listen, Pat, it's fantastic to chat with you, brother.
you too, guys.
It is.
Although Joey's been quiet, I think he's looking at Mahoopany Creek's.
I did look at it.
Joey is always quiet during the interview portions, and I always
You're
worry
like
about
the
that.
natural interviewer.
And he told me that
Yeah,
the other day. He said you do the homework, you do all the. He said,
Yeah.
just, and
You got the face for radio.
I'm just here for it. And you know,
I have another.
Pat, you know what's coming next, this or that. So you're sticking around, right?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. First item up, and Pat, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Then I'm
going first.
Yep, you go first, and then Joey is last in line because Jess is gone upstairs.
Probably on TikTok, not even going to sleep.
No. Christmas Vacation or Elf?
Christmas Vacation. Come on, not even a chance.
I do love me some Will Ferrell. I would go Christmas Vacation.
No, you were going to say Elf until we both shook our heads.
No. I mean, because there's just so much that comes out of all of the vacation franchise that,
Yes.
and very little of Elf but I do enjoy Elf.
A lot of comes out of Elf.
I mean, I know him. Okay, Joey, what's your choice?
Oh, Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. So it's a unanimous.
But I
We need a
only
dinner.
like
We need
Christmas
a bell.
Vacation and the one where they go to the amusement park, Wally World.
Yeah, European Vacation is kind of weird.
I never saw
European
the other one.
Yeah, that's the step.
We always watch Christmas Vacation the night of Thanksgiving. Kicked everything off.
Let's see. What do you have a go-to?
Refer to you it all the time.
Pat, do you have a go-to like Christmas movie tradition thing that you always do? I have one. We always
not really. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life, of course. Like if it's on, you got to sit and watch it for a little while and be confused as to what the heck's happening where you're at. But yeah, that's probably it. I think there's a couple of stations that play it, the whole way through. Or but yeah, that's probably the one. I know my family does enjoy that one. I'm usually traveling on Christmas, so driving around all over the place trying to get to where I'm going. So
we do White Christmas.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that
Being
was
around
good.
it.
And there's actually a lot of fun stuff. Once you've watched that for like 7 or 8 times, there's stuff that comes out. Have an apple.
There are some good lines in there.
Christmas Story.
yeah.
Christmas Story is a classic too.
That's one of the.
I was gonna say, and I'm not gonna kill you or this or that, but Elf or Bad Santa?
Well,
We were talking
yeah.
that the other day at the shop.
Yeah. Okay. Second item on this week's This or That. And Pat, I'll put you on the spot. Lacka Wyco Hundo or Crosscut?
I've been loving the crosscut. I gotta tell you, there's some beautiful. It's also I've done Lacka 1,000 times. I grew up on those roads. I grew up riding those roads. So the crosscut, the Mahoopany Creek, man, that Creek Road and the Fox Hollow. I mean, if the Chef's Kiss weren't so overplayed, I'd probably Chef Kiss the Fox Hollow spot on Creek Road. So yeah, crosscut 100%.
Having done neither one of them and hoping to eventually check that off the bucket list here, I want to go hardcore with Lacka, just simply because I just love the name. It's the name, Joey.
Oh, yeah.
It's the name. It's all in the name. Joey, where are you at?
Crosscut sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one?
And then they go fishing.
Which was the one that had tacos?
Lacka has tacos.
Because you had me at tacos.
Tacos is the spot. It's crucial. Real food on rides. So
you're gonna have to listen hard to this or that, because I don't want it to be confusing, but it's a really good one. So you come across a road closed sign. Do you go exploring on it, but you know that if it goes wrong on you, you got to ride pavement? Or do you play it safe, assuming a shorter hero gravel section?
Seek find, ride.
I knew that.
Always.
I'm right there with you. I can't tell you how many times you come across that, like, this road closed, no matter where you are. It's almost like an inviting, like, come.
Yes. Yes, please let me go. Am I going to crawl over some, some plumbing or sewage work? Sure, whatever. Seek, find, ride always.
Joey?
It never goes right for me when I go past a sign.
Really? I mean, you did Holly Shelter. Didn't you guys do something?
Yeah, and then there was the road was totally out, like a 20-foot ditch of water, and we got chased out by the landowner.
That's true. But we got a story to tell about that one, and nobody got shot.
Dirty Kansas, I rode past the "Do Not Go" sign. That dog that chased me down the road. Remember that? I have videos. I got stranded in a cornfield.
So you would go with. I don't want to say.
I'm always going to venture. Obviously,
okay. You're just saying I'm going to go wrong. It's going to go wrong.
Always gone wrong. There's other instances where I've gone wrong, and I'll tell all the stories, but they're always good stories.
I worked long and hard on how to actually phrase that when it was okay. It was, you could follow it because the thought was in my head about this or that, this or that. But I'm glad it worked out. Okay, last item in your water bottle. Cold water in the winter or like tepid warm water in the summer?
That's gross.
Oh man. Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, but cold water in the winter. Ooh.
Yeah,
doesn't bother me. I'm hot enough, man. I'm sweating my ass off no matter what. So cold water never scared me. So I would go cold water. Yeah, I've had the tepid water. I've had the sulfur water. I've had all that. And I'd rather some cold water.
Something gross about that warm water in the summer. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't taste right, and it almost hits your stomach like and kind of turns it a little bit. So Joey, I think I know where you're going to go, but I'll go ahead and give you the opportunity to answer.
Oh, definitely the cold water. That warm water's nasty. That warm water we had on the CNO that tasted like the Potomac.
I think I could still taste that.
I had some of that. Yeah,
but warm hot water sucks.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps us up this week, guys. Thank you once again, Pat, for joining us.
Absolutely. It's been great.
Always a pleasure to catch up. I'm so glad we ran into each other at Philly Bike Expo and got to, even though we were behind masks, it still felt.
Yeah. I love listening to you guys. I'm always like, oh man, I got to go out and ride with these guys. I got to, thinking about all the good times you guys talk about and hearing about new rides and new events and stuff like that. It's always great.
Let's go do some fast passing together. Let's go do some fast passing.
We can do so. Man, I've told you guys. I think there's a little lack of MVP or VIP ride that has to happen where we do some Pat Secret Stash, and we could do some finding some good spots that are a little bit off the beaten path. Let's say that. That
sounds fun. Hey, Joe, you got anything else before we shut it down?
Nope.
Okay. One more time, folks. Remember to visit cutawayusa.com and check out. This week, I'm encouraging everybody to go on over there, check out all their gear, but also on the website, check out their little library of gravel routes right in their backyard down in Virginia. It's kind of a cool little feature on a website for a company that's doing e-commerce that you don't see very often. So make sure you check that out.
Code word gravel 15, all capital letters.
Yep. Discount code gravel 15 get you 15% off if you missed the 20% off site-wide sale for the holiday. So check that out. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you want to support the podcast, folks, the best way to do that is to pop on over to your podcast player of choice, drop us a 5-star rating, and give us a good review.
Or a proper review if we're only 2-star worthy.
I'll invite that.
Yeah.
I'll allow it because you
can't get better.
Exactly. So I was going to say, you don't get better if you don't hear what you're doing wrong. Right. It's just true. And Joey, how can folks get in touch with us?
Our website is at graveltraveldirt.com. Our Instagram is at Mid-Atlantic GTD.
Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in Joey's kitchen, all the way up to somewhere outside of Philadelphia in a place in Pennsylvania that I probably can't pronounce the name.
Let's say Wincote. Come on,
Wincote. Got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
I'm not going to ask you to spell. I'm going to ask you to spell Wincote, but yeah, Wincote.
Can I take a guess?
Sure. Go ahead.
Guess? I'm going to say so. It's Wincote.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Wincote. Anywhere
Excellent
close?
work.
Was that right?
Excellent work. You didn't hear my clapping? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, excellent work on Wyco. Yeah, some Welsh people named this a long time ago when they were fighting with the Scots down the street in Glenside.
I do my homework, y'all.
You are SMRT smart.
Thanks for riding along, everybody. Till next time, do good, be nice, go slow, and respect others.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, awesome. Did you hit stop on record?
Done. And I'm going to hit stop over here on this.